Today's lesson is about drawing the inside and outside of identical vegetables or fruits. I've chosen avocados, but you can also take limes or oranges or anything that you can slice in half and open in two parts. You don't actually have to have two vegetables, but sometimes it works better if they see the whole one in the background, and it kind of counterbalances the two halves in the foreground. But the important thing is to choose something that has a strong value shift. So if you're looking at citrus, you're looking at the difference between the value in the rind that usually gets whiter as it goes toward the center, and then the fruit that's darker again, and then the seeds, which are also dark around the outer edge, and if you slice them, they're a little bit lighter in the middle. So we're going to be working with value, adding white and black pastel. I have my pastel pencils, my pastel chunks, my black pastel pencils, and pastel chunks. So let's get started. Now I'm going to arrange my paper in such a way that I have a margin all the way around, because my vegetables are small within the frame, but I still want them to look sizable when I'm done. So I bring in the outside about 1.5 inches. I'm also going to be practicing with my tools prior to doing the drawing, so I understand what the pressure and lack of pressure with the white and the black will do on the green paper, which is a little bit different than white paper or black paper, which you may have already used. So I'm pushing down really hard to get my white at the top of the range. And then I push down really hard at the bottom and note I see some of the green coming through, which may be useful for me later when I'm doing the outside of the avocado, because there's a kind of a speckled nature to the avocado. So I'm leaving that there to remind me that I can use that for the surface texture of the skin of the avocado. And the next level shows more of the green coming through. And the middle value is color of the paper. So keep that in mind. That's your value range. Of course, there are really infinite numbers of grays, but you have to have at least 5 in order for this picture to work. Now, I am using my kneaded eraser, which I want to have clean in case I still have any color on it from last week, and my pink pearl eraser, which I can use a small piece of paper to erase with to clean it up. So I look at the angles of the items in my composition, and there's an angle here and an angle here, which is recessed a little bit. And then there's a more straight across avocado back there. The ones in the foreground will be a little bit larger. The ones in the background will be a little bit smaller because of proportion and perspective. Notice this side will be smaller, and this side will be smaller still. This is because the bulge that I see at the top and the bottom is less foreshortened as this distance and this distance. I look at the negative space. Realize that I need this one to come forward a little bit more. Notice I see most of the top here and not as much of the top over here. It's because it's moving backwards in space. I'm going to use the brightest whites in the foreground, and they get a slightly darker, which in this case means more green, as I move into the background. I have some overlapping shadows, so that's why I have an ellipse here, an ellipse here, an ellipse here, an ellipse here. There's also an ellipse here because of the window, an ellipse here, and one coming forward, which I almost omitted. So I look for the darkest darks in the whole composition. One of them will be down here. There is a bit of a reflected light here at the bottom, so I don't completely get rid of all of the light on the underside here because it's bouncing off the table. You have to remember to remove your lines from around your shadows because there is no line around a shadow. It's because it's the absence of light. So something that is important is to put the edges around the fruit, but no edges around your shadows. moving back and forth between white and black, you really have to be careful to clean off your blending stumps. I'm going to keep some of the bumps at the top, use the paper to help me create the bumps. But get rid of them in the areas of shadow, which are right across the center. And if you still have fingerprints at the end, you just have to blot them with your cleaned kneaded eraser. The top layer will come off. And that's enough to get you started. So good luck.